Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry. This is Monday Quilt Chat. Welcome back in. We're just going to chat about quilty things today, everything that's been going on in my world here and in the quilting world in general. So how was your weekend? I had a pretty good weekend. It was quite fruitful, not super duper fruitful, but I got some things done. I think the main thing I got done this weekend was long arming the Scrapbuster #1 project. I'll show that to you on Friday. I still have to bind it. I took it to my long arm meeting yesterday and showed the folks there without the binding, but there's many more of you all who haven't seen it yet, and instead of doing the blue square, I decided to do Scrappy for the binding. So I have this, let me show you. I have this box of leftover bindings that just kind of created itself. And I don't know if it's because I've done a lot of bindings lately that this is overcrowded in there. But I decided to sew a bunch of them up together. And I think this is how much I have. I have enough for the quilt in the house already. And then I've got this much that I've connected. And I'm thinking about just connecting all of these because none of them are big enough for a quilt. If there is anything in there big enough for a quilt, I'll set that aside. But I think I'll just sew. Well, yeah, I have to sew all those together and then wind them up on something. So that's a binding thing. I mean, it just kind of created itself. I didn't have a binding thing before. It was, you know what, it was in amongst those strips that I've been using for the paint chip blocks. You know, the bags that I have by color. That was a separate category that came out of that bin that was overflowing. So, I really need to deal with that. I don't think I want to get rid of those. I don't know. I might. It's got all my scraps in it though. So, you know, all of the binding pieces are from my scraps, so they would go good on my scrappy quilts. And there will be more scrappy quilts. So, I need to create a place for that, I guess. But, you know, places in my room here are opening up with all the scrap stash busting we've been doing. Yeah, I've made quite a bit of empty spaces around, albeit small, and I need to continue to work on that. But yeah, I need to create a leftover binding category. I also worked on, I did 2 Harriet's Journey blocks. I'll show you those on Friday. And then I did 12 paint chip blocks. I did my teal, aqua, turquoise bag of scraps. So that's another bag of those out of the way. And so I won't show you each one of these. Maybe I'll put them on the wall on Friday. I don't know. I don't know what I'll be into by then, if I will spread these out or not. But they're basically just like that top one. There's not much variation in them. A little bit, but not much. 12 and an empty bag. So I was happy about that. Yes, I was. So that took some time, and I also chose our next scrap busting project that I will have a video for, not this Wednesday, but the next, I believe, and it involves a layer cake. So if you're looking to use a layer cake for a really easy quilt, we're going to use one of our Jolly Bar books. So I'm not going to reveal just yet what that is about. But it's going to be on the theme of jazzing up a Jolly Bar pattern. Because, you know, if you look through those books, those patterns are very, very, very easy. So, you know, how can we take one of those patterns and take our fabrics and make it something special? So I have something really cool in mind. So that'll be 2 weeks on Wednesday. This week on Wednesday, as I already told you, but if you haven't seen past videos recently, we're going to introduce or kick off our Blues Boutiques Humane Society donation quilt drive. And so you're going to want to tune in for that on Wednesday, because there will be a block that you will want to make and send in to me if you want to participate. No pressure. Anybody that wants to send a block or two is welcome. We'll talk all about that on Wednesday. I went to my long arm meeting this weekend on Saturday afternoon and had a nice time, nice turnout for our group there. And yeah, we got to spend some time together and talk about our quilts that we had done and so on and so forth. And I would kind of like to get a little sew along deal going with those gals too. You know, something that doesn't take a lot of our time, but something we can kind of have in common for each of the meetings, and that way get to know each other even further. I'm kind of heading that up somewhat with much suggestion from everybody else. While I was there, while we have the long arm meeting at the store there, they give us 20% off of anything we want to purchase that day. So that's a good incentive to pick up some things that you need or things that you see that you like. It is February. That was February the 1st. So I was able to legally purchase that day. Hey, by the way, I made it all the way through January. I did not buy anything sewing related. And I didn't buy much of anything, period, other than a few tops. And I think I told you that the other day, to wear. And so I successfully made it through No Buy January. I will be back for No Buy March after this month. So yes, I picked up a few things and these are all things that I needed. For example, oil, machine oil. I have oil down by the long arm in the house, but I don't have any up here. I spilled it, and I think it got knocked over once, and it leaked out over time, and this poor machine here is thirsty. Probably after this video, I'll take her apart and give her a drink because she's dry. I also got some bobbins for the long arm. I got 2 packages of 8. And with my discount, this was actually cheaper than Amazon. So let's see. I think on Amazon, these would be $17 for 8. And I got them for $15.96. So that's a couple dollars off, a couple dollars saved. And then also I got some needles. The needles, even with the discount, were just a few cents higher than Amazon, but I would probably still get them at my store because, you know, why not? I need to support them, and this is one good way I can do it. So I spent, with the discount, I spent $52.97 on those items. So I have, this is what I keep down there. I brought them up here to show you. I keep these to put my bobbins in. And sometimes I find myself without any free bobbins, but I don't want to empty these because there's still enough on them in that color for a quilt. So I needed to get some more. So I'm going to fill this up while I continue to talk to you. Yeah, getting some things for the longer. I ordered some stuff also from Amazon for the long arm. I have created these side clamp things out of some canvas material I have. And if you have a long arm, you know what I'm talking about. You know how when you put the clamps on the side, and if you got the ruler base on, it clunks into it and gets hung on it, and sometimes that can cause your design to get messed up. So I created these canvas things with some long elastic, and I need another set of side clamps, so I have a pair on each end of the long arm to hold that piece of fabric. And then my little band that I created clamps onto the fabric, so it's much flatter and it doesn't get caught on anything. So that's a little thing I kind of invented. I mean, I've seen other people do stuff like that, where they, you know, they create extra fabric or some other way. Sometimes they pin it on the sides. I know they have red snappers for the sides too, but I'm not investing in the red snappers just yet. I might do that in the future, but that also is a clamp system for your long arm. What else did I order from Amazon? Seems like I got that and some, oh, there's this hammock you can get to go under it to keep your batting off the floor while you're long arming, because when you first start, all your batting is coming down from the top and the excess is laying on the floor. And sometimes you'll step on it, or sometimes I'll roll my chair across it or something, and I don't want to, you know, like mess up my batting. So I'm going to get that hammock. It's just like you know, those nets that you have in the back, in the trunk of your car. You know, it kind of holds things back. It's kind of like that, but it's a hammock. So your batting will just kind of lay right in it. So I got that, and also some magnetic hooks to attach the hammock, because I don't want to attach it permanently. Did you all know that there's a setting tension guide on the back of these packages for Handy Quilter? Some nice tips there. And then also on the needles, there's a guide here for what needle you need for the thread that you're using. So sometimes we overlook stuff like that and just throw it in the trash. You know, it's just packaging, but this actually has a lot of good information on it. So it looks like I'm still not going to be able to fill both of these up. I think over time I'll get them all filled up. There we go. There's one. So there's a lot of empty ones in there, but I shouldn't have to have bobbins for a while. I can't imagine needing more than this, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these in here and take all of this back in the house. Okay, that's that. So let's talk a little bit about channel memberships. I am not doing channel memberships. I will never do a channel membership. Mark my words. Do you not know what a channel membership is? Well, this is a thing where channels will decide to create extra content for people who pay. So there's different levels. I think on YouTube it's like $6.99. And then also sometimes people have Patreons, and you know, they can set different prices there. Actually, that's not true. On YouTube, there are different levels as well. There's a cheaper level, and it goes on up from there. I don't know what they are, but Soya has one that's $15. I belong to Fat Quarter Shop's membership on YouTube, and I believe it's $6.99. What does that get me? That gets me behind the scenes videos. Like if they're going to film a video, like a tutorial video, the members get to see the raw version of it, which is interesting. I don't always watch those though. They're not so interesting that I'm just dying to watch them. And then also if they have a live, which Fridays, usually on Fridays or several of the Fridays out of the month, Fat Quarter Shop has a live video, and it's usually a couple hours long, and they're showing new fabric lines. So I really like that, and sometimes they have special guests and things like that. But anybody can see that. But the membership part of it is you have this little quilt block beside your name, and I think your name is in a different color. No big deal. But there are some sales opportunities, you know, like they might say for the members you get 20% off of Jolly Bars this month, or 20% off of charm packs, or some kind of yardage, or some kind of fabric line, or a basic, or something like that. You'll have that coupon to use all month long. I think they change it once a month. So, you know, it's fine. Occasionally there's a pattern, you know, that's exclusively for the members. You know, no one else can get that pattern that they've designed. It's usually not anything complicated, but, you know, it's a pattern, but you know how I feel about patterns. I think all patterns should be free. Yeah, I'm not going there. But anyway, I'm not starting any memberships. Don't get worried about that. I don't have any ambition to take cash from my viewers to watch me. I get paid by YouTube, and when you see the ads, even if you skip through them, which I don't care, skip through them, I don't care. If you get a premium membership, though, you'll never see another ad. I think it's $13.99 a month. I have it. So when I watch YouTube videos, I don't have any commercials in mine. So the best thing you can do, as I've always said, is watch the video completely through to the end. That's how I get paid. But those advertisers are providing the money to pay the YouTube channels. So, Google actually pays us, and, those ads that have been bought on Google that they play on the videos is what pays us. So I just, for me, I'm not trying to make this a full-time job or a lucrative business or anything like that. I'm just kind of, here to share whatever I feel like sharing with you and provide some content that will be helpful to you and some fun things to do and encouragement and, teaching and all of that kind of stuff. That's what I'm more into. It does take a lot of effort to make videos. Any YouTuber will tell you, and I know you hear it all the time, but it's true. The amount of time and work we put into it doesn't equal what we get paid at all. So, it has to be something you really love for you to want to do it. And YouTube channels create these memberships so that they can augment their income. Some of them will even say, this is my job. It's like a work from home job that, I have to make money and I have to pay, my car payment or whatever. So, I understand that. Also sponsorships. You see a lot of people say, okay, today Skillshare is sponsoring this video. That just means that Skillshare has contracted them to make a video about their product, and they get paid an amount for that. That's totally separate from Google or from YouTube. It's as far as getting paid is concerned. And a lot of those, it's a one-time deal. I mean, if you agree to review a product or something like that, it's a one-time deal. I've noticed a lot of YouTubers do Skillshare, Simply Safe. There's an insurance one. There's a health drink one. You'll see a lot of big names do that. I think they probably target the bigger channels, and they probably pay a lot better too. So, I've kind of decided, with the beginning of this year, I don't want to do any of that stuff anymore. It puts pressure on you. I didn't do any of the big ones anyway. I just had the small ones like the heat press and the magnetic seam guide and a couple of fabric cut. I did those rotary blades for them one time. It's not lucrative at all, really, unless you're a really large channel. I just don't have that's just not it's just not my thing. So I will never have a membership, but something that I would like to know is some of you, I know there's a lot of you that watch me that also are members of the Soya membership that they just started. That's $15. I did not buy into that because I'm already a fat quarter shop. I already have that membership. I follow a gal on Patreon, and let's see, is there something else? Oh, I pay for the YouTube Premium to not have the ads. So I just don't want to add another one right now. And I feel like, through their regular live shows, you're probably gonna hear about some of the stuff that they're doing under the membership. I would like to know, if you all who have the membership, is it worth it? Are you seeing that it's a great value? yeah, I would just like to kind of know how you feel about it. I mean, I might do it someday. I might want to do it. You might convince me to do it. I don't think so. But, yeah, I'm curious about how that's going. I know the only way for me to for sure know is to be a member, but I'm just not going to do that just yet. And what do you think about the clubs? The color club and the sticker club and all that stuff? Is that all that stuff really worth it? I mean, I see where they're going with it as far as, you know, it draws people in. If you can get somebody to be a member of something, then they've got you. You know, do you feel that way? Or do you feel like you're really getting a good value for your membership in those things? You know, for example, they have the little binding buddies, which is like a press-on figure that is out of vinyl or whatever, and it goes inside your binding and sticks out like a little bear or butterfly or something like that. You know, if you get those are you going to put those on every quilt? I'm curious. For those, I know it's only been a couple months, not even a couple months since they started it, but I'd be curious to know, is that going to be worth doing? Really? But remember, when you become a member of something, it's not difficult to get out of it, but sometimes you just don't think about it, and then several months go by and you're like, why do I still have this membership? So you're not really getting the benefit of it, and they're getting your money too. So I don't know. Memberships are I'm kind of on the fence about memberships, if you can't tell. But I think it's because that's not me. I don't want to do that. I will never ask for a membership or a Patreon membership so that I can draw money out of your account. I mean, it wouldn't be me personally, but you know what I mean. I just don't feel right about that. Even if it was a lot of money, I don't think I would feel right about that. I may even feel worse. Anyway, I just wanted to run that by. I was going to talk about that last week, and I totally forgot about it. But now that a little more time has gone by, maybe you have more information for me on that. So, yeah, all the bigger shops have their memberships. I don't know if Missouri Star probably has some sort of membership that they sell. I don't know of any others, though, other than So Yeah and Fat Quarter Shop. Maybe some of you do. Let me know if there's any others out there that you are members of that you like. I would like to hear that too. And why? Why do you like those? So that was a little bit of a distraction from the chat, but we are chatting about quilty things. So another thing that I forgot to talk about last week that I said I was going to talk about the Friday before was, do I need to stop doing my scraps the way I'm doing them? I do them 2.5-inch squares, 5-inch squares, 10-inch squares, and 2.5-inch strips with the fabric, like leftover jelly rolls, but not the partial ones, because I'm not doing those anymore. I will put those in the scrap bin and move them out of here. Other than the rolls that I did, I will use those up, and that's it. I rarely touch those 5-inch and 10-inch, but I can't bear to get rid of them, because some of them are my older scraps that I had, and I guess there's some sort of, like, I don't know, attachment that I have to them. But do you know I have a bin that's full of those? I have a 5-inch square bin that's full, and I have a 10-inch, I don't know if you'd call it 10-inch, because at one point I was cutting squares in all kinds of different sizes. 6.5, 9.5, 10, 8, all kinds. And I still have some of those, but the vast majority are like 10-inch squares, all scraps. So I haven't really touched those much at all. Sometimes I'll go searching for a piece of fabric, like for the Harriet's Journey, for example. You know, I'll have a color that I need that I've been using. Let's say it's a yellow, and I don't have any more of that yellow in the bin anymore. So I'll go to those 5-inch and 10-inch squares and see if I can find something in there, rather than go over to my ones on boards and cut a little piece off. That is still a good reason to keep those. I don't know. Tell me what you keep as far as scrap sizes. I think I'll continue on with the 5 and the 10, and definitely the 2.5 by width of fabric and the 2.5 inch squares. That's number one, 2.5 inch squares. I really like those, and you can do a lot with those. So tell me what you're keeping. I don't think I want to keep anything less than the 2.5 as far as width goes, like 1.5 inch strips. I don't think I want to keep small strips. So is there any other size that maybe I would be more inclined to use out of those 5s and 10s? Should I just stop doing the 5s and 10s? I can't imagine that, because I'm always processing scraps from leftover backing from long arm projects, and leftover backings, you know, when just any size project I have tons of scraps for. So I don't know, that's another curiosity I have. I do have the Sew Sampler box that I can show you if you haven't seen it yet. I'll just go through it really briefly. The Peaceful Baskets is here. I will be getting that done in the next little bit before the next box comes, hopefully. And then the theme is Embracing New Possibilities. And there is a code for 15% off charm packs. I can't show you that one. And then there's a charm pack alternate project if you don't want to do the project that's in here. Now, the project that it's in here is this. It's hard to see, isn't it? It's a table runner. It's called Hot Cross Buns. And then also there are paper piecing involved, English paper piecing. They gave us 3 charm packs of Sunday Brunch, and that is by Basic Gray. Lots of, well, just your basic colors we like to use, you know. Kind of cutesy. And this is not the Tilda. I saw an ad today online where Tilda has a Sunday Brunch line that just came out. This is not it. This is by Basic Gray. And then there's another alternate pattern that they gave you if you don't want to do the paper piecing, and it's this Fresh Start. And you can only get this stuff in this box. You can't go online and find this stuff. The only thing you can find is the alternate pattern that's on the back of this card here. They also gave us milliner's needles, and these are number 10. That's what I got. Milliner's needles are really good for English paper piecing because they're thin and flexible, and they have a decent sized eye. And then they also gave us a spool of thread for the hand sewing. Although this is 100% organic cotton. It's 500 yards of 50 weight. So you could use this in a machine too. But it is 100% cotton. So that is the Sew Sampler box. I know I'm always a little bit late to the game on showing the Sew Sampler box. Oh, and another thing, talking about that membership with Fat Quarter Shop, because the Sew Sampler box is from Fat Quarter Shop. In the membership video for this past week or so, they had one. Kimberly said that they don't send these to YouTubers, or they don't just send free boxes out to people. I mean, they might send, she said they might send special products out to be reviewed. Like she has some new pieces that she's selling, like an OFA board and one of these things that holds your stuff, and a few other Notion-y type items that she's selling in a set, a project bag. She said they might send something like that out to somebody to review for free and they could keep it, but they don't send these out to YouTubers. So don't think that they're people who review these are getting them for free, because they're not. I heard it from her mouth. So I don't know if somebody out there, it's a YouTuber it's watching, gets it for free, then correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure I heard it come right out of her mouth and say that that's not the case. So I'm not affiliated with them. I don't. There again, the affiliates, I have some in the description box. Like I have Amazon, Connecting Threads. I think I had Annie's at one time, but I think they quit their affiliate program. I don't know. I have just a handful out there. I had applied for Fat Quarter Shop. I never heard anything from them. I probably should apply again, but I really don't care. I really don't care if you all buy under my affiliate link. It's minimal. The Amazon one is good. If you go into Amazon and buy something that I suggested and I put a link or whatever, and then you buy other stuff while you're there, that can add up to be something. I think the last check I got from Amazon was $20.22 or something like that. So, and that was like 3 months. So, see, why do I care? I'm not pushing that stuff. Nobody wants to hear that all the time. Look at my link in the description box. Be sure and use my link. I mean, I'll tell you if I have a link, but I'm not pushing that all the time. I think people get wary of that. They just get tired of hearing it all the time. And I don't want to be that. I don't want you to be tired of hearing me. All right, so let's see. What else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else here. We can go over the, let's see here. I did my journaling. We'll do the quilt of the week, and I'll put a picture right here. It's called Gyrolicious. It's 80 by 80, and it's by Linda Brown, Linda Finney, and Marilyn Badger of St. George, Utah. So it was a collaborative effort there. It says this quilt provided an opportunity for the 3 women to work together on a project, and they chose this opportunity to try out making an asymmetrical quilt. All 3 ladies worked throughout the project, including the piecing, quilting, embroidery, and the beading. This project shows off a design that has some couching and crystals in it as well. Marilyn says that the most fun part of the project was adding the embellishments, embroidery, beads, and crystals. That part of the project ended up taking more time than the piecing and quilting. Wow. It does look like there's a lot of beading or something in all of those like sun rays on the yellow parts, all the way around those. There's something inside all of those wheels. There's some beading in there. And the embroidery. Wow. And then it was quilted as well. It looks like it has a kind of a basic Baptist fan kind of quilting on it. I know you probably can't see that. And it may be custom quilted that way as well. Yeah, I think it would have to be. I don't know if they put the crystals on. Yeah, they have to put the crystals on afterwards, because if you try to Longarmer quilt with embellishments on it, that can be a disaster for your machine. Be a disaster for the quilt too, wouldn't it? So that's a really pretty one, and really colorful, asymmetrical. It's not as asymmetrical as I would call asymmetrical, because basically you just have 2 different designs in opposite corners. But I see what they mean. It's pretty cool, pretty ambitious, and I can see how it took 3 people to do it. I'm surprised that didn't win some sort of ribbon somewhere. It doesn't say that it did. Okay, that's what we have for this week. So be sure and come back Wednesday. We'll talk about Blues Boutiques and the Humane Society, and then back again on Friday for Finish It Friday. We're getting a good supply of photos that are coming in. Like I said, Friday, if you don't see yours, you sent it that week, but it wasn't on that Friday's show, it's because I'm doing 10 people at a time if I have it. So sometimes I go a little bit over that now. So that's pretty cool. Glad to see you send those in and share your quilts with the world. That's what we like to do, isn't it? All right, well, have a great week, and I will see you back here on Wednesday. All right, have a good one. Bye.